Hi, this is Huili Wang. Welcome to Cloud Access Security Broker CASB Fundamentals. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the key functions of CASB, visibility. We will first talk about why CASB visibility is important to the cloud customers, and then we'll cover what's included in the visibility dashboard. And finally, we'll touch on the limitations of this feature. Not all you want to see will be available to you. And why is that? First, we want to take note that CASB visibility is different from what we know, the usage visibility from cloud security providers' dashboard. The usage visibility is mainly about the workload in the cloud and the workload consumption and volume. It could be ranked by services or displayed in a way by how it is distributed across different instance types. But overall, the purpose of the CSP dashboard, especially the usage visibility, is for measurement and for billing purposes, not for security management. What's not in the usage dashboard is the security data, security information, or we call it security insight, and that should be presented in CASB's visibility dashboard. Why do we care about visibility? Simply because after migrating to cloud, the workload is now out of the company's local environment, so it's no longer visible. For example, you can hardly tell who is using what cloud services, and are the services sanctioned or prohibited, or when did they use them, from office or from home, and what types of data are accessed, and how much is the data downloaded or uploaded. All these sorts of information is no longer visible because the entire security landscape is changed after moving to cloud. So basically, the insight we want to tell is what happened, what activities user conducted. That's the after effect or the history activity data, and what's going on if you have a real-time basis monitor in place. And those insights, those data would be able to answer the questions of who accessed what, at what time, from where, and how much. And if you have some intelligence in the analysis, you will be able to tell why the user conducted such activity, why this event or even incident took place. So that basically answers the question of shadow IT coverage. Shadow IT is the IT activity like using resources that your IT monitoring team or monitoring department are not aware, because that's called shadow. And the shadow IT coverage is one of the fundamental requirements in the company's IT governance. Most of CASB solutions have visibility data presented in a single portal called dashboard, sometimes called control console. Here is a mock-up of such dashboard control console. Not all the solutions look the same, not all the dashboard of different solutions look the same, but they more or less bear a similar flavor. The data presented here, you can group the services, group them, or prioritize them depending on your own need, and you can use different types of graphic UI design style to better present that. For example, the most frequently used services could be listed here, and the risk level of each of the service could be presented in a way like a bubble. A larger size bubble means higher risk. And you can have statistics of the analytics of user activities and the list of major events or incidents here, the data volume or data consumption, how it is distributed, and maybe the major threats that are mitigated or malwares blocked. So such dashboards, the data should come from a bunch of major underlying technologies. Here is the list of them. First and foremost is the Cloud Service Risk Repository. CASB maintains a risk repository where it should have a comprehensive signature base of literally all the major or main threat cloud services here, and whether they are sanctioned or non-sanctioned. This should be the basis of CASB visibility, because you have to have the data, have the signature of the services, and you have to recognize the service. Otherwise, there's no way to further analyze and give the risk level of the services. So this part is very critical to give the visibility of cloud services and their risk level for each of the services, the service risk repository. And secondly, the important part is the logging capability, and SIEM, security information event management. These two are combined together. Usually the logs fed into SIEM collector and parsed and storage and analyzed and aggregated and come up with the meaningful data to be presented in the dashboard. The two challenges here, the first one is the collector should be able to collect the data sources from a different service enforcement point. And the second is the compatibility, because the logs could be fed to CASB to SIEM on a periodical basis or on a real-time basis, and you have to pass them, though depending on in a different way depending on the format, and sometimes the logs could come even from different vendors. For example, if your threat protection is used the solution from vendor A, and your data loss prevention is using the solution from vendor B, then you have to feed the different logs into the same parsing component to make sense to aggregate and come up with a solution. So integration and compatibility is the key part here. But overall, logs and SIEM parsing capability are important to provide the visibility results of user activities, as well as the threats information. And thirdly is the policy setting. We call it collected policy setting. Let me change the color here. It's recommended to put policy setting in the single centralized dashboard here, because usually if you have separate policy setting consoles, maybe a separate console for threat protection policy, and then another console on data loss prevention policies, then there will be leading to some complexity in the management. So putting the policy and rules together in the same dashboard, in the same console, will simplify the matter, and more importantly, can resolve some potential conflicts between the policies and rules. So here is basically what visibility can be available, can be obtained and presented to the cloud customer through the dashboard. Now let's have a short quiz. The question is, which task should be performed as the top priority to ensure timely visibility? Please review the available choices, give it a thought, pause the video, and we'll come back. Okay, let's go over the options one by one. Update policy to expand encryption coverage. This is mainly involved data processing, whether you encrypt it or leave it as a plain text, and which algorithm is in use. Is not directly related to the visibility that's available in the dashboard. So this is not the right choice. Encryption coverage is on the data processing part. It's not a matter of visible or not visible on the service usage. Service repository, this seems to be a right choice because it is the top priority. When a new service, cloud service is out there, you need to update the service repository, add the new service, give its appropriate risk score so that the usage of the service and the risk level can be reflected in the dashboard. That's very much related to visibility here. So this is the right choice. But let's continue, check the remaining options. Add redaction to incident review. Incident review, the redaction is mainly involved whether the reviewer has the privilege to see the details of incident. So this is a very granular control of the incident management, not on the whether or not the incident itself is reflected in dashboard. So it's not a relevant and not a proper answer. And the last one, role-based access control update. Again, this is related to the control, which role should be given the privilege to access certain assets. This is mainly about the control itself, but not whether or not the result of the control is visible or reflected in the dashboard for visibility. So that's a different perspective. And again, the right answer is service repository. So that's the key part or the basis to ensure a timely visibility from the dashboard in CASB. We have just explained the visibility function in CASB, but not everything is visible in CASB dashboard. In the next video, we'll talk about the limitation in CASB visibility. Thank you very much and see you next time.